Chapter 1065. After the water was boiled, she called Qin Yuan over to take a bath. Come on. You can take a bath now. Hey, mother. Qin Yuan responded and took some water from the kitchen. He went into the house and washed his body from head to toe. This way, his body would feel much more comfortable. Mother, is Zhao Ping up yet? Qin Yuan asked Mu Chunfang after he was done. Mu Chunfang was stunned for a moment before he replied, No. Isn't Ping still sleeping in the house? Qin Yuan got angry when he heard that. Zhao Ping is still sleeping? I can forgive her for being ugly and stupid, but how can this woman be lazy? Since she married into our family Qin, she should know the rules of our family Qin. No one will spoil her. Normally, a virtuous woman would have already woken up, prepared breakfast, and served her in-laws. But this woman, Zhao Ping, on the first day she got married, she slept in at his house. If word of this got out, people would only laugh at him for marrying an ugly and lazy woman. Mother, I'll go and wake her up, Qin Yuan said with a sullen face. If she wants to sleep, let her sleep a little longer. What time is it? She's still sleeping? As lazy as a pig? Seeing that Qin Yuan was angry, Mu Chunfang didn't know what to say. Then why don't you wake Ping up? Okay. Qin Yuan responded and went into the house. Zhao Ping was lying on the bed, sleeping comfortably. She was lying on her stomach with her buttocks sticking up in an arc. She was even snoring loudly. The loud snoring made Qin Yuan frown in disgust. Why was Zhao Yun so disgusting? She made herself look like a man. No, it should be said that he looked like a pig. The moment he saw Zhao Ping like this, he became even angrier. Bang! After a loud noise, Zhao Ping jumped up in fright. He looked at Qin Yuan blankly and asked, What's wrong? What's wrong? Big brother Yuan, what's wrong? Qin Yuan snorted. What's wrong? Zhao Ping, what do you think is going on? Zhao Ping dug her nose and mumbled, Big brother Yuan, I was sleeping just now. I don't know what happened. Qin Yuan was so angry that his chest hurt. Zhao Ping, you be *tis, shut up. Big brother Yuan. Zhao Ping didn't know what she had done to make her lover unhappy again. It was really strange. She didn't do anything. Why did Qin Yuan like to be angry with her? It couldn't be that he disliked everything about her, right? Big brother Yuan, if there's anything, just tell me. I'll listen to you. Zhao Ping looked at Qin Yuan aggrievedly. Qin Yuan vented his anger. Zhao Ping, you're really something. It's the first day you married into my family, and you actually slacked off and didn't do any work. You slept until now. Aren't you ashamed? Zhao Ping was very puzzled. Big brother Yuan, isn't it because you were too hard on me last night? Of course, I'm very sleepy. And I woke up. Why did I wake up? No one made me work. I don't know what I should do. Qin Yuan felt that if he spoke a few more words with Zhao Ping, he could shorten his lifespan by a few years. Chapter 1066. Zhao Ping mumbled, Big brother Yuan. That's how it is. I don't do much chores at home, huh? Qin Yuan laughed coldly. That's why I said you're stupid. As a virtuous wife, shouldn't you wake up early to cook and serve me and my parents? After Qin Yuan finished speaking, he looked at Zhao Ping with an unusually cold gaze. Zhao Ping realized that she had made a mistake and made Qin Yuan angry. However, Big brother Yuan, I don't know how to cook. After Qin Yuan finished listening, he was so angry at Zhao Ping that he couldn't get angry anymore. He suddenly laughed, and his laughter made Zhao Ping's hair stand on end. Big brother Yuan, Zhao Yun, tell me, what do you know? Zhao Ping thought about it. She really didn't know anything. Look at yourself. Don't you know what kind of character you have? You're ugly, stupid, and lazy, and you don't know anything. Tell me, why would I marry a woman like you? Don't tell me you're going to be a decoration. Decorations have to be pretty to be decorations. You're so ugly so you can only be used to scare people. It's pretty good to be my family's door god. Whatever demons or ghosts come to my house, they'll be scared away when they see you. Qin Yuan scolded, and the words he said could be said to be merciless. Zhao Ping's face heated up when she heard Qin Yuan's words. She was very embarrassed by what he said. Zhao Ping, let me tell you. You have to be obedient in my house. Otherwise, I'll chase you out. Qin Yuan said sternly. Big brother Yuan. I'll learn, okay? I'll get up now and cook for you. Zhao Ping nimbly got up from the bed. Seeing Zhao Ping like this, Qin Yuan didn't say anything. Zhao Ping went to the family Qin's kitchen. The stove was cold. Zhao Ping didn't know what to do. Mother, Zhao Ping shouted at the top of her lungs. What's wrong, Ping? Mu Chunfang rushed out and asked. Mother, I don't know how to cook. Can you teach me how to cook? Mu Chunfang was easy to talk to. Mother will teach you, mother will teach you. Mu Chunfang thought that once Zhao Ping learned how to cook, he could give this job to Zhao Ping. Then she would be able to live a happy life, and he would not have to meddle in the affairs of the family every day. This was the benefit of having a wife. Mu Chunfang was still very happy in his heart. Although Zhao Ping was a little stupid, as long as she was willing to do it and slowly teach her, these wouldn't be a problem. Come, Li Ping, mother will teach you. Mu Chunfang said patiently. On the other hand, Zhao Yun'er's house was bustling with activity again. On the first day after Zhao Ping got married, Liang Jinxiao was still worried about whether Zhao Ping could adapt to the family Qin. However, it was useless for her to worry. Zhao Ping was now in the Qin family, and she couldn't manage the family Qin's matters. She only hoped that Zhao Ping wouldn't make the family Qin angry like she did at home. Mothers-in-law couldn't be compared to mothers. Mothers could be tolerant, but mothers-in-law might not. Fortunately, Mu Chunfang's personality wasn't like Hu Chuan was. Otherwise, Zhao Ping would be tormented. When Zhao Ping returned home, she would ask her properly. She only hoped that nothing big happened. Zhao Yun had been busy the whole day yesterday, and today, she wanted to have a good rest. Tomorrow, she would go to the town to set up the stall and get busy. She hadn't had a good rest for a long time. Finally, she felt very comfortable. Chapter 1067. Mother, Daodu ran in front of Zhao Yun'er and patted Zhao Yun'er. Zhao Yun'er poked her head out of the blanket and said to Daodu, What's wrong, Daodu? Are you hungry? Mother will get up now and cook for you. Zhao Yun'er said as she rubbed her fluffy hair. She was nestled in the blanket and her hair was messy, making her look like a lunatic. No, Mother, Daodu ate at grandmother's house. I'm not hungry. Then Daodu came over to call Mother because, Mother, Father is back. Daodu said to Zhao Yun'er with a smile. There was a sweet smile on his little face, as if it could melt people's hearts. Your father is back. Where is he? Zhao Yun'er was curious. Mother, Father just came back to the village. Daodu came back to inform you in advance. Zhao Yun'er was stunned for a few seconds before she hurriedly got out of bed. He was indeed her biological son. If he didn't come to inform her earlier, then wouldn't Mu Lianfeng be a lazy woman when he came back to see her still in bed at this time? Plus, with her current appearance and messy appearance, which man would like her? Thus, Zhao Yun'er hurriedly climbed out of bed. She had to tidy herself up before Mu Lianfeng came back. However, just as Zhao Yun'er climbed out of bed, she heard a noise outside. Then, the door to her house was pushed open and a man came in. This man was Mu Lianfeng. Mu Lianfeng rushed all the way back, hoping to come back as soon as possible. He wanted to return to Zhao Yun'er's side and spend time with Zhao Yun'er and Daodu. However, when he pushed the door open and entered, he saw a woman looking at him with an exaggerated expression. The woman's hair was also messy, as if she had experienced something. Mu Lianfeng looked at Zhao Ping a few times before he confirmed that the person standing in front of him was Zhao Yun. Yun'er? Mu Lianfeng exclaimed in surprise. Zhao Yun responded. She lowered her head and wished she could find a hole to hide in. Mu Lianfeng frowned and asked worriedly, Yun, what happened to you? Did something happen? Mu Lianfeng didn't dislike Zhao Yun. Instead, he was worried that something might have happened to Zhao Yun. I didn't run into any trouble. Zhao Yun pursed her lips awkwardly. I just woke up and didn't have time to wash up, so, Mu Lianfeng understood Zhao Yun'er's words, but he was still very surprised after hearing them. I see. After speaking, Mu Lianfeng's lips curled into a smile. Yun'er, did you sleep until now because you weren't feeling well? No, Zhao Yun'er stuttered and didn't know how to reply. If she said yes, it wouldn't be right. Mu Lianfeng would think that she wasn't feeling well and was worried about her. But if she said no, wouldn't that be admitting that she hadn't slept until now purely because she was lazy and not because she was feeling unwell? Yun'er, is it true or not? Mu Lianfeng's concerned gaze fell on Zhao Yun. Zhao Yun'er's ambiguous answer really made him anxious. No, I'm not feeling unwell. I just felt sleepy, so I slept until now, Zhao Yun'er said softly. Before she could raise her head, she was pulled into someone's arms. Chapter 1068. Zhao Yun'er was caught off guard and plunged into someone's embrace. What followed was a fresh and familiar scent. Zhao Yun'er's head was knocked on. Then she heard Mu Lianfeng gently call in her ear, Yun. Mu Lianfeng hugged Zhao Yun'er tightly when Zhao Yun'er fell into his arms. He didn't know how long it had been since he hugged Zhao Yun'er like this. During the days when he was away, he missed Zhao Yun'er so much that he almost went crazy. Every day, he thought about Zhao Yun'er. He thought about her when he was eating, drinking, and even when he was sleeping. If it weren't for the mission, he would have rushed back to Zhao Yun'er and spent some time with Zhao Yun'er. Now, he dawdled until this time and finally rushed back. Zhao Yun'er wanted to struggle, but she couldn't break free. You'll suffocate me like this? Zhao Yun'er muttered to Mu Lianfeng. There was a hint of shyness in her voice. Mu Lianfeng whispered in Zhao Yun'er's ear, Yun'er, I miss you so much. So pretentious, you've only been away for a few days and you're already missing me? Zhao Yun'er muttered. She was just joking with Mu Lianfeng. Yun'er, haven't you heard of this saying? A day apart feels like 3 years. Although I haven't been away for long, I miss you very much, miss you. Mu Lianfeng said affectionately. The words, miss you, kept echoing in Zhao Yun'er's ears. Zhao Yun'er felt her face still burning. Because of Mu Lianfeng's words, she felt a little shy. She was in such a mess, but Mu Lianfeng could say such affectionate words to her. She couldn't help but admire Mu Lianfeng. This man, did he despise her? Yun'er, what's wrong? Don't you miss me? Mu Lianfeng raised his eyebrows and asked softly. How could Zhao Yun'er not miss him? Although Zhao Yun'er had a lot of things to do during Mu Lianfeng's absence, she was still thinking about Mu Lianfeng and hoped that he would come back soon. Because of him, she could feel that she had someone to protect her and support her. She had a sense of dependence that she had never had before. Otherwise, if she was alone, she would have to shoulder any problems by herself. Yun'er, do you miss me? Mu Lianfeng asked again. Zhao Yun'er asked back, what do you think? I think you miss me. Mu Lianfeng answered directly. Since you know that I miss you, why are you still asking when you already know the answer? Zhao Yun'er glared at him coquettishly. Mu Lianfeng chuckled and said, Yun'er, I want to hear you say that you miss me. Zhao Yun'er saw that Mu Lianfeng had become like a child and couldn't help but shake her head. He was already an adult, but he was still willful when it came to some things. Zhao Yun'er could only say, yes, I miss you. During the time you were away, I missed you very much. With Zhao Yun'er's words, Mu Lianfeng's lips curled into a smile. Zhao Yun'er didn't know if she could say that Mu Lianfeng was childish. If you're done hugging me, let me go. Zhao Yun'er murmured. Chapter 1069. Zhao Yun'er's soft body gave him a special feeling in his arms. Especially the faint body fragrance coming from Zhao Yun'er's body. Mu Lianfeng's heart calmed down a lot when he smelled it. He continued to press his chin against Zhao Yun'er's head and took a deep breath. Zhao Yun'er had no choice but to let Mu Lianfeng hug her. Forget it, forget it. Mu Lianfeng was just a silly child in front of her now. Why bother with him so much? Daoist walked in front of Mu Lianfeng and tugged at Mu Lianfeng. Daddy, Mu Lianfeng reluctantly let go of Zhao Yun'er and said to Daoist, what's wrong, Daoist? Daodu pouted as if he was a little jealous. Mu Lianfeng helplessly tugged at his lips and smiled at Daodu. Daddy will hug Daodu too. Okay. Daodu nodded, and the grievance and unwillingness on his little face gradually disappeared. Mu Lianfeng was a little helpless. This son was a little disappointing. He was intimate with his mother, but she was very unruly. Now that he thought about it, having a son had its benefits, and not having a son had its benefits. If he and Zhao Yun could spend some alone time together, it would be good. No one would disturb them. Mu Lianfeng carried Daodu in one arm and Zhao Yun in the other. The family of three was together again after being separated for a period of time. The scene was a little heartwarming. After a while, Mu Lianfeng finally let go of Zhao Yun. I'm going to wash up, Zhao Yun said. Her current appearance was a mess, like that of a lunatic. Fortunately, Mu Lianfeng didn't mind, because even she despised herself a little. Yuner, if you are tired, you can continue to sleep for a while. Mu Lianfeng looked at Zhao Yuner with heartache. He knew that Zhao Yuner had not been idle at home during this period of time. Just the wedding banquet for Zhao Ping was enough for Zhao Yuner to be busy. It was not easy for Zhao Yuner to rest for a day. It was understandable that she was so tired that she had not gotten up until now. Zhao Yuner waved her hand. No, I'm not sleeping anymore. She would be embarrassed to sleep with him again. Mu Lianfeng really thought that she was a lazy woman. All right then, Yuner. If you're tired in the afternoon, you can sleep a little longer. Zhao Yuner nodded. Zhao Yuner washed up simply and let Mu Lianfeng rest as well. Mu Lianfeng felt sorry for her because she was tired. How could she not feel sorry for Mu Lianfeng? In order to rush back early to see her, Mu Lianfeng could be said to be fatigued from the long journey. He rushed back, covered in dust. She could tell by looking at Mu Lianfeng's complexion. Mu Lianfeng's eyes were sunken and he looked very haggard. There were dark circles under his eyes. His complexion was sallow and he had lost a little weight. It had only been a few days, but Mu Lianfeng looked like he was sick. The more Zhao Yuner looked at him, the more her heart ached. Yuner, why are you looking at me? Mu Lianfeng touched his face and asked in confusion, could it be that there is something on my face? Zhao Yuner shook her head. No, it's just that you look very haggard. Are you very tired? Do you want to rest for a while? Mu Lianfeng had rushed back with great difficulty just to see Zhao Yuner and get together with Zhao Yun. Now that he had this opportunity, how could he use this time to sleep? He would definitely cherish this moment of reunion. Mu Lianfeng shook his head. Yuner, I'm fine. I don't need to rest. Chapter 1070. Yeah, really. If I'm tired, I'll definitely take a break. Zhao Yun then nodded. All right then. But since you said you're not tired, are you hungry? At the mention of this, Mu Lianfeng's stomach grumbled a few times. He hadn't eaten for a long time. At this moment he was very empty, so he nodded. Yeah, I'm a little hungry. Zhao Yun's lips curled into a smile. She felt that Mu Lianfeng was a little cute. He was obviously so hungry that his stomach was grumbling, but he still said that he was a little hungry and not very hungry. He was simply being stubborn. However, Zhao Yun didn't expose him. Instead, she said to Mu Lianfeng, you rest first. I'll go and cook for you. Seeing that Mu Lianfeng had lost a lot of weight, Zhao Yun knew that Mu Lianfeng was probably too busy to eat. In addition, the food outside didn't suit Mu Lianfeng's appetite, so he didn't like to eat. I'll help you. Mu Lianfeng got up and prepared to go to the kitchen with Zhao Yun. Zhao Yun waved her hand and said, no need. You rest. I can do it alone. However, Mu Lianfeng insisted. No, let's do it together. I'll help you. Mu Lianfeng still enjoyed the time when he was busy with Zhao Yun. Aren't you tired? It's okay. I'm not tired. Looking at how excited Mu Lianfeng was, it was as if he couldn't wait. Zhao Yun didn't want to scold him, lest Mu Lianfeng lose interest. If he wanted to go with her, then so be it. They could chat while they were busy. All right, let's go to the kitchen then. Yeah. Zhao Yun nodded heavily. On the other side, by the river in the village. Because Mu Lan had a lot of things to do, Mu Hin tried his best to share her workload. Therefore, all the clothes in Mu Lan's house were carried by Mu Hin to the river and washed by herself. Ma Xiaofeng happened to be washing clothes by the river. When she saw Mu Hin coming over, she bit her lower lip and looked at Mu Hin with jealousy in her eyes. It was all because of that B***tis Mu Hin that Zhao Tianan did not pay much attention to her now. Therefore, Mu Hin blamed everything on Mu Hin. Without Mu Hin, there would be no woman to seduce Zhao Tianan, and Zhao Tianan's heart would not waver. She would never let go of that B***tis Mu Hin. No, she had to teach Mu Hin a lesson. It would be best if Mu Hin could not stay in the village. After all, this was Shuilan village, and outsiders were not supposed to come here. Mulan had not married anyone. She had married into their village. She came here to seek shelter only because her sister was from Shuilan village. If Mu Hin caused any trouble in their village and caused the villagers to be angry, the villagers would protest collectively, and Mu Hin would be driven away. She did not need to do it herself at all. She only needed to be the fuse. Looking away from Mu Hin, Ma Xiaofeng continued to wash clothes calmly. There were stone slabs by the river to wash clothes, but there were not many of them. When there were many people, they had to line up. At this time, there was only one stone slab left by the river. Mu Hin saw it and naturally walked towards the remaining stone slab. After Mu Hin walked over, she went to Ma Xiaofeng's side. When Mu Hin saw Ma Xiaofeng, she was slightly stunned. She felt a little embarrassed. After all, it was because of Zhao Tianan. However, Mu Hin still smiled at Ma Xiaofeng in a friendly manner. Chapter 1071. She didn't expect Mu Hin to smile at her. However, after being stunned, Ma Xiaofeng also smiled at Mu Hin. Ma Xiaofeng thought that since Mu Hin knew how to pretend, she knew how to pretend too. It wasn't like she couldn't be compared to Mu Hin when it came to pretending. Come on, be careful, Ma Xiaofeng said with some enthusiasm. Looking at the friendly smile on Ma Xiaofeng's face, Mu Hin was slightly touched. Because of the rumors, the people in Shuilan village didn't like her. No one treated her well when they saw her, except for Zhao Yun's family members. Now that Ma Xiaofeng was smiling at her in a friendly manner, she should be the first person to be kind to her. Therefore, when she saw Ma Xiaofeng, Mu Hin's heart had a better impression of her. Okay. Mu Hin responded with a smile and smiled at Ma Xiaofeng again. After feeling Ma Xiaofeng's kindness, Mu Hin felt that because of her, Zhao Tianan and Ma Xiaofeng had a conflict. She felt quite uncomfortable in her heart. The two girls were about the same age. They chatted while washing clothes, so they could talk more together. After chatting for a while, Mu Hin felt that Ma Xiaofeng was even better. Only such a good girl was worthy of Zhao Tianan. Mu Hin knew in her heart that Zhao Tianan was still thinking about Ma Xiaofeng. Because she knew this, even if she also liked Zhao Tianan and had feelings for Zhao Tianan, she didn't tell Zhao Tianan about it. If she confessed her feelings and was rejected by Zhao Tianan, she was afraid that she wouldn't be able to be friends with Zhao Tianan in the future. Therefore, it was better not to tell Zhao Tianan. That way, they wouldn't feel awkward when they were together. Now that he saw Ma Xiaofeng, Mu Hin suddenly felt that he could help set them up. After all, there shouldn't be anything between her and Zhao Tianan, so she might as well help the two of them. Mu Hin guessed that there must be some misunderstanding between Zhao Tianan and Ma Xiaofeng. In that case, it would be good to solve the misunderstanding. She then turned to Ma Xiaofeng and asked, Xiaofeng, what happened between you and Tianan? Did the two of you have a conflict? Facing Mu Hin's concerned gaze, Ma Xiaofeng snorted coldly in her heart. This B***tis really knows how to act. She was clearly the one who had seduced Ma Xiaofeng, but now Mu Hin was saying such things. Although Zhao Yun had a problem with it, she didn't express it verbally. Instead, she smiled and said, This? Tianan and I had a conflict, and now Tianan is ignoring me. With that, Ma Xiaofeng lowered his head sadly. Seeing Ma Xiaofeng like this, Mu Hin felt a little sympathetic. The two of you are doing fine, so why did you have a conflict? Is there anything I can help you with? Tell me and I'll help you, Mu Hin said sincerely. If there was anything she could help Ma Xiaofeng with, she would definitely help. Ma Xiaofeng wished that Mu Hin would disappear. As long as she disappeared, she would be fine. No matter how big the conflict between her and Zhao Tianan was, it would be resolved. Thank you. Sigh, this is something that happened between Tianan and me. You can't help much, Ma Xiaofeng said and sighed heavily, looking very sad. Mu Hin frowned slightly and sighed as well. Alright then. If there's anything you need help with, just let me know. I'll help you talk to Tianan later. Thank you so much. On the surface, Ma Xiaofeng smiled warmly and was very grateful to Mu Hin. However, in her heart, she could only grit her teeth. Chapter 1072. Did she really think that she cared? She pretended to be so good, but she was just a slut. Only Zhao Tianan would be stupid enough to be bewitched by such a slut. Mu Hin smiled and said, "You're welcome." As long as Zhao Tianan was happy in the future. When Ma Xiaofeng heard Mu Hin say, "You're welcome," she became even angrier. This Mu Xin, she really thinks she's something. What the hell is she? The more Ma Xiaofeng thought about it, the angrier she got. No, she had to teach this slut a lesson. Ma Xiaofeng's eyes moved, and a scheming thought emerged in her mind. Seeing that Mu Hin was about to wring the clothes, she said to Mu Hin, "Mu Hin, you can't do it alone. Let me help you." Mu Hin was slightly stunned and looked at Ma Xiaofeng. She was a little embarrassed and said, This isn't a good idea, is it?" Ma Xiaofeng smiled and said, "It's okay. What's not good about it? It's too much trouble for you." Mu Hin lowered her head and said weakly. Very few people helped her, so when others showed her kindness, she was not used to it. Just like now. It's no trouble. It's not easy for you to wring it out alone. The clothes are so big. Let me help you. Mu Hin nodded and replied, "Thank you." Ma Xiaofeng waved her hand and said, "It's okay. You're welcome." With that, the two of them wrung the water together. Just as they finished wringing the clothes, they heard a splash. It was the sound of someone falling into the water. The people on the shore hurriedly looked into the river and saw Ma Xiaofeng struggling in the water. Then came the screams of the women. Xiaofeng fell into the river. "Come and save her." Xiaofeng girl fell into the water. Hurry up. Otherwise, Xiaofeng girl won't be able to hold on. Yeah, hurry up. Someone go and call Sister Qian. Tell her that Xiaofeng girl fell into the water. I'll go. You guys go and save them. Good. As the women spoke, they hurriedly ran to the riverside and looked at Ma Xiaofeng in the water. Hey, we don't know how to swim. How can we save people? Is there a man here? Otherwise, you can jump down to save Xiaofeng girl. Come, I've got a long stick. Let Xiaofeng grab one end and we'll drag her ashore. Ah, that's a good idea. Let's hurry up. Good. Therefore, several women went to Ma Xiaofeng and hurriedly handed over the long sticks. They shouted to Ma Xiaofeng, who was struggling in the river, "Little Feng, quickly catch it." Ma Xiaofeng heard the women's cries and struggled to grab the wooden stick. The women worked together and dragged Ma Xiaofeng ashore. "Little Feng girl, how are you? Are you all right?" Luckily everyone is here. Otherwise, what would happen to little Feng girl? She would probably drown to death. Fortunately, little Feng is a lucky girl. After Ma Xiaofeng was dragged ashore, she coughed heavily a few times and coughed out the water in her stomach. "Little Feng girl, how are you? Are you all right?" Ma Xiaofeng waved her hand. Cough, thank you aunties. I am fine now. Several women saw that Ma Xiaofeng's face had turned red from coughing and sighed slightly. Chapter 1073. She was probably trying to make them worry. She was such a sensible and good girl. "Little Feng, come, let me pat you down." A woman stepped forward and patted Ma Xiaofeng's back. Ma Xiaofeng spat out a few more mouthfuls of water. Cough. Sigh, this girl is choking badly. Luckily, we pulled her up in time. Otherwise, what would have happened? Isn't that so? She's fine. She's really lucky. Thank you, aunties. Ma Xiaofeng finished coughing and started to express her gratitude. The few women waved their hands. It's fine. Little Feng, we're from the same village. You don't have to be so polite. But speaking of which, why did you fall into the water? That's right. Little Feng, why did you fall into the water? At this point, Ma Xiaofeng lowered her head and looked at Mu Hin. Mu Hin was originally shocked by this sudden situation. She only heaved a sigh of relief when she saw that Ma Xiaofeng had been rescued. She was about to go forward and ask Ma Xiaofeng about her condition, but she did not expect that Ma Xiaofeng would look at her when she was questioned. Mu Hin's heart tightened. She had a bad feeling about this. Could Ma Xiaofeng say that she had pushed her? She had found it strange earlier. Why would Ma Xiaofeng fall into the water out of the blue? Now, it seemed that Ma Xiaofeng had deliberately fallen into the water. At this thought, Mu Hin shook her head and denied this conjecture. It couldn't be. Ma Xiaofeng looked like a nice person. She would not do such a thing. But why was she looking at her? Mu Hin looked at Ma Xiaofeng nervously, thinking that Ma Xiaofeng had something to say to her. They stared at Ma Xiaofeng, then at Mu Hin. The women on the shore also looked at Mu Hin. She recalled that there were only Mu Hin and Ma Xiaofeng together just now. If Ma Xiaofeng did not know how to jump down herself, then it could only be Mu Hin who pushed her down. Thus, the women on the shore began to discuss among themselves. They felt that it must have been Mu Hin who had pushed her. You little girl from another village, how can your heart be so ruthless? That's right, but our Shui Lan village bullied them. How can that be? We can't let her bully others as she pleases. I'll have a good talk with Mulan later. This kind of person can't stay in our village. Exactly. Little Feng girl is so pitiful, let's go help her teach her a lesson. All right. These women rushed to Mu Hin and pushed and shoved Mu Hin, saying, Little slut, teach her a lesson. Let's see if you dare to bully others in the future. The women did not show any mercy when they hit, and they used a lot of strength. Mu Hin was pushed straight to the ground, and her butt hurt from the fall. Mu Hin was even more at a loss after being pushed by these women. She muttered, I didn't. She's quite stubborn with her words. She didn't admit that she did it. This girl's character is really terrible. Sigh, how can this kind of person stay in the village? Isn't that so? I heard that she seduces people. She even seduced those men from the family Zhu. Really? The women who had never heard of this before came forward curiously and began to gossip. Chapter 1074. After all, she's her younger sister? Mulan is a kind-hearted child. She probably can't bear to chase her away, then let's keep her around to harm others. I heard that all the men in the family Zhu are bewitched by her. As the women spoke, they glanced at Mu Hin's face. Seeing that Mu Hin was quite pretty and young, they felt that it was normal for men to be bewitched by such a woman. Everyone, you have to keep an eye on your men. Don't let this little be asterisk to seduce the family Zhu and then run out to seduce other men in the village. Of course we have to keep an eye on her. Men are lustful to begin with. Once a woman takes the initiative, it'll be even worse. Isn't that so? I think it's useless for us to keep an eye on her. It's just a temporary solution. What if we don't pay attention one day? Won't the men in the family be seduced by her? I think the best thing to do is to chase this B***Tsich out of our village. Are we still afraid that our men will be seduced? Yes. It's best to chase her out of the village. We don't have to think so much. Hearing that the women wanted to chase Mu Hin away, Ma Xiaofeng saw that she had achieved her goal and her lips curled into an imperceptible smile. She was still too inexperienced to fight with her. Mu Hin was scared out of her wits by these fierce women. Coupled with the nasty words they said, she didn't know what to say. Other than defending herself, I didn't, she had nothing else to say. She could only look at Ma Xiaofeng for help. Ma Xiaofeng knew that she didn't push her. As long as she stepped forward to explain clearly, everything would be fine. Ma Xiaofeng met Mu Hin's eyes, and a scheming look flashed across her eyes. She walked in front of Mu Hin and shielded Mu Hin behind her. She said to the women, Aunties, please don't misunderstand Mu Hin. I don't think it was Mu Hin who pushed me. Maybe I accidentally fell into the water. Ma Xiaofeng's words sounded like she was trying to cover something up. When the women heard this, they felt that Ma Xiaofeng was kind-hearted and said that because she was protecting Mu Hin. Hence, they said to Ma Xiaofeng earnestly, "Little Xiaofeng, don't be silly. How could you be the one who fell into the water? I think it was Mu Hin." That's right. We haven't seen many people fall into the water by accident. Sigh, Xiaofeng, this girl is just too kind-hearted, too silly. Xiaofeng, you don't have to protect others, you should take care of yourself first. That's right. You're soaked in water, so you must be very cold. Little Xiaofeng, go back first and change your clothes. We'll help you deal with this little slut who pushed you into the water. Ma Xiaofeng looked at Mu Hin awkwardly. Mu Hin, I'm sorry. It's all my fault for implicating you. They didn't believe me when I told them. Seeing Ma Xiaofeng frowning and worrying about her, Mu Hin pursed her lips. It's not your fault. Don't blame yourself. Ma Xiaofeng sighed and said, Mu Hin, I know you didn't push me. I must have slipped in by accident. You're quite pitiful. You almost drowned. Don't worry about me. Go back and change your clothes. Ma Xiaofeng pretended to be worried and looked at Mu Hin. Then you're alone. Chapter 1075. Then I'll go back first. Mu Hin nodded her head. She couldn't possibly drag Ma Xiaofeng along with her. These women were targeting her and Ma Xiaofeng had already explained it to her. What else could she do? Now she could only deal with these women. Ma Xiaofeng turned around and left. She really did need to change her clothes. It was very cold, very cold. Otherwise, he would definitely want to stay and watch the show. Fortunately, after confirming that Mu Hin would definitely be unlucky, Ma Xiaofeng felt very pleased when she left. She wanted to see Mu Hin being bullied by these women. The women in the village were not to be trifled with. Mu Hin was just a little girl. How could she deal with these people? Even their spittle was enough to drown him. After Ma Xiaofeng left, Mu Hin had to face the abuse of these women again. They wanted her to get out of the village. This feeling of being wronged did not feel good. Hence, Mu Hin could only bite her lips and bear with this grievance. Even if she explained, these people would not listen. Anyway, they had already judged her to be the kind of person she was. Mu Hin could only stop explaining and carried the clothes in the wooden basin and prepared to go back. However, these women did not give up and blocked Mu Hin, not allowing her to leave. What do you want? Mu Hin frowned and asked. What? We haven't made things clear. You want to leave just like that? Isn't that right? Little slut, you can't let her leave. Yes, you can't leave. We still have to settle the score. As the few women spoke, they surrounded Mu Hin. Mu Hin lowered her head, not knowing what to say. What score were they going to settle with her? She did not push Ma Xiaofeng. Moreover, even if she had pushed Ma Xiaofeng, she had not pushed them. What score were they going to settle with her? Now, he couldn't defend himself, but he couldn't not defend himself either. Anyway, these people just didn't want to let her go. Mu Hin was suddenly at a loss. What should she do now? Should she just let these people bully her? At this moment, a person walked over. It was none other than Mu Lan's sister-in-law, Madame Qi. Madame Qi liked to join in the fun, so when she saw a group of women gathered together, she hurried over. He wanted to see what was going on. When he saw that Mu Hin was surrounded, he became even more curious. She pulled the woman aside and asked, what's going on? What happened? The woman replied, this little slut pushed Xiaofeng girl into the river. She's so vicious. What we're doing now is teaching him how to behave. That's right. How does the coach behave? Seducing men is one thing, but now you're bullying people. She's not from Shuilan village. We can't let her be so unreasonable. By the way, family Zhu's sister-in-law, isn't Mu Hin your second sister-in-law's younger sister? You two live together every day, so you should know, right? What's this woman like? Is she seducing and bullying people? A woman saw Madame Qi and asked her curiously. Thus, all the women present looked at Madame Qi. It could be said that Madame Qi had more right to speak than anyone else present. When Madame Qi saw that everyone was looking at her, She was stunned for a moment before she realized what was going on. Chapter 1076. Thinking of how Zhu Dainyu was bewitched by Mu Hin, Madame Qi became angry. This little slut, she had to let her know how powerful she was. Madame Qi smiled embarrassedly and said, "Her? Do I even need to say it? There's a lot of gossip in the village. Sigh, speaking of which, my husband despises me every day because of her. It's as if he's bewitched. As for me, I'm just an old woman. How can I be compared to a 16 or 17-year-old girl? Men will definitely like this kind of girl." After Madame Qi finished speaking, her tone carried some resentment and grievance. When the crowd heard this, they were even more certain that Mu Hin was seducing people. If even Madame Qi said so, how could the rumors be false? The onlooking women looked at Mu Hin with even more strange expressions. The women said to Madame Qi sympathetically, "Sigh, Family Zhu's sister-in-law, you're really pitiful. We're still alright, after all, we don't live together. You guys live in the same courtyard all day, your husband can't avoid meeting this little slut. Isn't that so? No wonder he's bewitched. As the saying goes, there's no smoke without fire." It seems that the rumors in the village about this little slut seducing people are not without reason. That's right, otherwise, why would they talk about her and not others? Look at her face, she's definitely seducing men. Seeing that Mu Hin was being scolded, Madame Qi was very pleased. This little slut deserved to be scolded. She wanted to see how badly Mu Hin would be bullied and taught a lesson. Let's not be soft-hearted, hurry up and do it. Let's slap her a few times first, then scratch her face and give her a good beating. She'll naturally behave herself after that. That's a good idea. Alright, hurry up and do it. A woman grabbed Mu Hin and grabbed Mu Hin's hair, wanting to drag Mu Hin away. Mu Hin screamed. Just as Mu Hin was about to be taught a lesson, a man suddenly rushed over and shielded Mu Hin. The man who came was Zhu Dainyu. When he saw that Mu Hin was being bullied, Zhu Dainyu was very protective of her. She angrily said to the group of women, "What are you doing? What are you doing? So many people are bullying a little girl." After that, Zhu Dainyu asked Mu Hin, "How are you? Are you okay? Did they hurt you? Tell me, and I'll help you teach him a lesson." Mu Hin quickly shook his head. Although Zhu Dainyu came out to help him, he felt that it was better not to come out. Because if Zhu Dainyu helped her, it would seem that there was something between her and Zhu Dainyu. She would be caught and talked about non-stop. Dainyu, you're really protecting this little bitch. Looks like Family Zhu's sister-in-law was right. He's really been seduced by this little bitch. Look at how protective he is of her. I don't see him being so protective of his wife. How can you compare them like that? After all, the little bitch has a pretty face, and we're all old women now. And you still say that we're bullying her? I say, Dainyu, you already have a wife. How can you think of other people's little girls? We're not teaching her a lesson for no reason. There's a reason for that. This little bitch needs to be taught a lesson, or else she won't behave. Dainyu, just move aside. Your wife is here, and you're protecting another woman. I'm not afraid of embarrassment. Chapter 1077. If Family Zhu's sister-in-law sees this, she will definitely be sad. How can her man protect another woman? Isn't that so? As these women spoke, Zhu Dainyu's sharp gaze turned towards Madame Qi. Actually, when Zhu Dainyu's gaze swept over her, she trembled all over. She felt that Zhu Dainyu's gaze was as if he wanted to eat her up. Madame Qi knew that Zhu Dainyu would definitely teach her a lesson when they returned home tonight if he did not lay a hand on her. Madame Qi frowned and felt that she was unlucky. Why did Zhu Dainyu come over all of a sudden? Coincidentally, he bumped into her again. These women all had cheap mouths. Otherwise, she could have hidden behind them and sneaked away. Zhu Dainyu was even angrier after being scolded. However, he didn't blush or have his heart skip a beat when facing these long-winded women. What nonsense are you talking about? You think you're in the right when you're bullying others? What do you mean by Mu Hin seduced me? Speak clearly, don't talk nonsense. Oh, Dainyu, isn't it true? Look at how protective you are of her. You haven't been seduced? Then why don't you tell me why you're here to protect her? That's right, your wife already said that Mu Hin seduced you, but you still don't admit it. Sigh, family Zhu's sister-in-law is so pitiful to have such a man. That's right. When Zhu Dainyu heard this, he glared at Madame Qi angrily. This B***Tsich still dared to talk about him like this outside and embarrass him. When they returned home, he would probably not be honest if he did not teach her a lesson. In the face of these women's nagging, Zhu Dainyu said angrily, "You're really nosy. What does this have to do with you? Mu Hin is my second sister-in-law's younger sister. What did I do wrong to protect her? I don't know what each of you is thinking. Seriously. Look at all of you, it would be strange if a man's soul wasn't seduced by another woman." Zhu Dainyu, what you say is really interesting. That's right. How interesting? Are you talking about others or yourself? Other men wouldn't dare to make a sound after being seduced by a little slut. Look at you, you're so smug. Stubborn. I really have to hand it to this man. How could Zhu Dainyu, a man, win against these women? Niu Dainyu felt like his head was about to explode as they spoke one after another. Zhu Dainyu said angrily to them, "Shut up. You're so annoying." He was really good at slandering others. Let me tell you, you better watch your mouth and don't spout nonsense. Otherwise, I'll teach you a lesson when I catch you. Ah, you're really something. Who's afraid of who? Do you dare to hit us? Don't dare? Why wouldn't he dare? If you don't keep your mouth clean, I'll slap whoever I see. Ha, I don't believe that they would dare to do anything to us. Ha, they'll beat up whoever they see. Ha, they probably think that we're afraid. Do they think that our men are just decorations? Isn't that so? He's really attentive as a brother-in-law. Zhu Dainyu realized that these women were much more shameless than men. One after another, he couldn't even out-talk them. You're all crazy. I can't be bothered with you. Zhu Dainyu said angrily. Then he prepared to leave with Mu Hin. However, the women continued to block them. Chapter 1078. You're not allowed to leave. Mu Hin hasn't been properly dealt with yet, and you're already allowed to leave. That's right. We must deal with this B***tch today. The women spoke resolutely and blocked the way. Zhu Dainyu's eyebrows twitched. Indeed, that saying was right. It was difficult to deal with vile people and women. This group of unreasonable women, who would be able to fight against them. You guys better not go overboard. Otherwise, I'll really make a move. Zhu Dainyu clenched his fists. Mu Hin looked up at Zhu Dainyu. She didn't know why, but she suddenly felt a little touched. Regardless of Zhu Dainyu's motive for standing up for her, this man was on her side. Moreover, he stood up for her when she was being bullied. Even though Zhu Dainyu liked her, or perhaps he had ulterior motives for being so attentive, Mu Hin said weakly to Zhu Dainyu, "Brother Dainyu, don't bother about me. You should leave on your own, lest others misunderstand that there's something going on between the two of us." How can that be? Look at these shrews. They'll bully you to death later. Mu Lan said softly, It's okay, Brother Dainyu. Anyway, it wasn't the first time she had been bullied. Even if they bullied her again, she wouldn't feel anything. When she was in the Mu family, she had endured worse things than this. Perhaps this was her fate. If that was the case, then she shouldn't struggle. Just as Zhu Dainyu was about to say something, Mu Lan came over. In the village, besides the many women who liked to cause trouble and make things difficult for others, there were also many kind-hearted people. When they saw this, they quickly went to the family Zhu and told Mu Lan about it. Only then did Mu Lan rush over. Seeing that her younger sister was being bullied by a group of people, Mu Lan's fiery temper rose. She rushed to the front of these women and scolded, "What are you doing? What are you doing? Are you trying to bully my sister? Let me tell you, with me here, if anyone dares to touch a single strand of her hair, don't blame me for being merciless." After Mu Lan finished speaking, she rolled up her sleeves, looking like she was ready to fight at any time. If it was in the past, Mu Lan might not be like this. After separating from the family and spending some time with Zhao Yuner, Mulan figured out one thing. She couldn't be too weak. She had to be more domineering. This was the only way to ensure that he and his family would not be bullied. Ah, Mulan, you're here? Just in time. We really want to discuss something with you. Mu Hin frowned and replied coldly, discuss something? What's the matter? Mulan, your younger sister isn't well behaved in our village. We want you to send her back to her parents' home as soon as possible. Don't let her harm others in our village. That's right, our village doesn't welcome such people. With such a woman in our village, all of us will be scared witless. Who knows if our men will be seduced by her? Mulan, since she's not from our village, she can't stay for too long. We all have opinions. If you don't let her go back, we'll look for Li Jing later and chase her out directly. Mulan listened to these women talking one after another and finally understood what was going on. Chapter 1079. What do you mean we're too nosy? We're just telling the truth. Mulan put her hands on her hips and said, no one can chase my sister away. She's not living in your house. Don't tell me you don't have relatives living in the village? Besides, there's no rule in our village to chase people away. I'm not afraid even if Li Zheng is the judge. Others are others, but your sister is your sister. Who asked your sister to seduce others and bully Xiaofeng? Mulan sneered again and said, your mouths are grown on your bodies. You can say whatever you want. But my sister isn't the kind of person you're talking about. Seducing others and bullying others? Do you have evidence? Don't make a fuss if you don't have evidence. Everyone saw it with their own eyes. What evidence do you need? Heh, then let me ask you. You said my sister seduced my brother. Brother, tell me, did Mu Hin seduce you? Mulan looked at Zhu Dainiu as she spoke. Zhu Dainiu shook his head and said, people like to spread rumors. When did Mu Hin seduce me? Mulan added, I'm not even worried that my man was seduced by my sister. Why are you worrying? Come and find me when your man's soul is really seduced. I won't say anything then, but I'll say it now. If anyone dares to bully my sister, I'll fight them to the death. After Mulan finished speaking, she looked like she was going to fight to the death. It was said that the upright were afraid of the unreasonable, and the unreasonable were afraid of those who didn't care about their lives. Mulan was acting like she didn't care about her life. The women present didn't dare to go up and provoke her. Mulan, who are you trying to scare? Mulan curled her lips and said with a smile, who am I trying to scare? Then you can try and see if I'm trying to scare you. Okay, everyone stop arguing. What can we do when we meet someone who's unreasonable? Let's go. Sai, let's go. But Mulan, you have to remember what you said. If we catch your sister seducing someone's man, don't blame us for being rude. The women began to leave in a scattered manner. Madame Qi had long taken the opportunity to run away. If she was caught by Zhu Dainiu now, Zhu Dainiu would skin her alive. Mulan heaved a sigh of relief in her heart when she saw that the women had dispersed. She was really afraid that these women would make a move and hurt Mu Hin. Let's go, Xianxia. Let's go back. Mu Hin replied softly. On the way, Mu Hin did not say a word. He was in low spirits. Seeing this, Mulan sighed and asked, Xianxia, what's wrong with you? Did they hurt you? As Mulan spoke, she checked Mu Hin's body. She realized that Mu Hin's wrist was pinched red. It was obvious that she had hurt herself when she was struggling. A trace of heartache flashed across Mulan's eyes. She said softly to Mu Hin, come, I'll rub it for you. I'll apply some ointment when we get back. Mulan's words caused Mu Hin's eyes to redden. Tears started to flow down her cheeks. Mulan panicked. What's wrong? Is it very painful? Tell me, what's wrong with you? Faced with Mulan's concern, Mu Hin sobbed. Sister, you're so good to me. Mulan pursed her lips. Silly girl, you're my sister. If I'm not good to you, who else can I be good to? But sister, they said that I seduced brother-in-law. Do you believe them? They even said that I pushed Ma Xiaofeng into the water. Chapter 1080. Really, big sis? Mulan nodded. Of course it's true. It's not like I haven't seen them spouting nonsense. Besides, I'm afraid you already have someone in your heart, right? Meeting Mulan's scrutinizing eyes, Mu Hin blushed slightly. Haha, I know even if you don't say it. You're probably thinking about Yun Er's younger brother right now, right? Big sis? Mu Hin hurriedly called out, indicating for her to stop spouting nonsense. Mulan chuckled and said, All right, silly girl. It's fine if you're shy in front of others, but why are you being shy in front of me? I think Yun Er's younger brother is not bad. He's honest and hardworking. If you're with him, I think it'll be quite good. Big sis, you're still spouting nonsense. He has someone he likes, but he doesn't like me. Then who does he like? Ma Xiaofeng? Mu Hin muttered. Mulan was silent for a moment before saying, Don't worry. As long as he's not blind, he'll know that he'll choose you. Tianan isn't a fool. I believe that he'll choose you in his heart. Big sis, all right, let's not talk about it anymore. If we continue, you'll probably be even more embarrassed. Sigh, my sister is good at everything but she's too thin-skinned. Big sis, all right, let's not talk about it anymore. Let's go back. Look at you. Mu Hin had no choice but to follow behind Mulan. At Zhao Yun's house. After the family had lunch, Mu Lianfeng and Zhao Yun casually chatted for a while. Zhao Yun was more concerned about the results of Mu Lianfeng's trip to the capital. Zhao Yun only heaved a sigh of relief when Mu Lianfeng said that everything was a success. Yuna, His Majesty is very happy this time. I also reported to His Majesty that this was your idea. When the matters here are settled, I can take you to the Imperial Palace to receive the reward. At that time, the Emperor will grant us a marriage. Speaking of this, Zhao Yun was somewhat excited. It did not matter to her whether she was rewarded or not. What mattered most was that Mu Lianfeng wanted to bestow marriage upon her. Zhao Yun knew that the Emperor's decision to grant a marriage was completely different. If it was the Emperor who granted the marriage, no matter who it was, they could not object. Even if old Madame Mu disagreed, no matter what, it was more important to her. All right, Zhao Yun replied. She was also curious about what the palace looked like. Although he had been to the Forbidden City in the 21st century, this might be a little different. The architecture of this era should have the characteristics of this era. Since His Majesty was satisfied, then it was done. Now, Mu Lianfeng had nothing to worry about. He could have a good time during this period of time. The next day, Zhao Yun went out to set up a stall to sell breakfast. Although she did not want to go out, she had to earn money. Otherwise, how could she eat and live? After resting for a day, Zhao Yun's physical strength had almost recovered. On the way, Liang Jinxiao muttered, Hey, your sister Ping has to go back to her parents' home today. I wonder how she's doing these 2 days after she got married. Under normal circumstances, when a daughter got married, she had to go back to her parents' home on the 3rd day. This was called going back to her parents' home, which was also called going back to her parents' home. Chapter 1081. Zhao Yun's guess was actually correct. Zhao Ping was very attentive when it came to family Qin. It wasn't that she wanted to be diligent, but she was afraid that if she didn't work, Qin Yuan would dislike her and chase her away. She didn't want to leave. She wanted nothing more than to be with Qin Yuan every day. As Zhao Ping busied herself, she thought about how she felt when she made love with Qin Yuan last night. She instantly felt great. After tasting that feeling, she knew how good it was to do it, not to mention doing it with Qin Yuan. It was no wonder that her mother would make such loud noises when she accidentally heard her parents' movements in the room. That was because she was so comfortable that she couldn't hold it in. She originally thought that it was because she was uncomfortable, but she found out last night that it was because she was comfortable. At the thought of this, Zhao Ping felt a little excited. At this moment, she only hoped that the sky would quickly turn dark so that she could light the incense and do it with Qin Yuan alone. After Mu Chunfang taught Zhao Ping once for breakfast, he let Zhao Ping take care of lunch by herself. Zhao Ping went to the kitchen somewhat reluctantly. Mother, I can't do it alone. Why don't you come too? Mu Chunfang replied, Ping, Mother still has other things to do. Didn't I teach you once this morning? Why haven't you learned it yet? Zhao Ping pursed her lips in grievance and said, Mother, you only taught me once. Of course I don't know how to do it. You should at least teach me a few more times. You silly girl, why are you so stupid? Cooking is such a simple thing. Do you need me to teach you a few more times? You can figure it out by yourself. Mother? Zhao Ping pursed her lips. After being scolded by Mu Chunfang, she was a little scared. All right, you can go to the kitchen first. Go and do your own things. When Mother is done with the things at hand, I'll come back and teach you then. Mu Chunfang replied impatiently. Zhao Ping frowned and entered the kitchen alone. Really? Zhao Ping muttered. Her mother was too much, wasn't she? How could anyone learn to cook after learning it once? Cooking was also a skill. If one wanted to learn it without a teacher, it was still difficult. However, since Mu Chunfang was not coming over, she felt helpless and could only work on her own. She was not good at cooking. She had only seen how others did it. Relying on her memory, Zhao Ping got busy. Not long after, smoke could be seen in the kitchen. However, the smell of the smoke was a little smoky. Zhao Ping was almost in tears from the singing and couldn't stop coughing. Cough, 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 cough. Zhao Ping wiped her tears and muttered, Why is it so smoky? My mother and the others didn't smoke so much when they were cooking. Zhao Ping didn't understand this. She didn't see anything wrong with her burning. Zhao Ping could only continue to cry and cook. The smoke in the kitchen was a little thicker. Qin Yuan, who had just returned from the field, saw such a big smoke and thought that his house's kitchen was on fire. He rushed into the kitchen. After rushing in, he was also choked by the thick smoke. After coughing a few times, Qin Yuan saw Zhao Ping in the thick smoke. This stupid woman, she was still here. Chapter 1082. Zhao looked at Qin Yuan with teary eyes and said, Big brother Yuan, why are you so fierce? When did I rebel? I was cooking. Hearing Zhao Ping say that she was cooking, Qin Yuan snorted coldly and said, Cooking? Zhao, tell me, is this how you cook? You made the kitchen full of smoke. Those who don't know might think that our kitchen is on fire. Big brother Yuan, isn't there a fire? Zhao Ping mumbled, then said with some grievance, Besides, I don't know how to cook. I asked Mother to help me, but she didn't help. So I went to the kitchen to figure it out myself. Qin Yuan looked at Zhao Ping as if he was looking at an idiot and said, According to the way you are burning, even if you didn't burn down my kitchen today, you will definitely burn it all down some other day. Zhao Ping, it's fine if you say that you're ugly, but why are you so stupid? Which family's girl doesn't know how to cook at this age? Besides, my mother taught you once. Now you're blaming my mother. Don't you feel embarrassed? With Qin Yuan scolding, Zhao pursed her lips and said, Big brother Yuan, I'm your wife. How can you say that about me, huh? Qin Yuan laughed coldly. She was his wife. If it weren't for his parents' persuasion, would he have agreed to let Zhao Ping marry into his family? What a joke. The more he looked at Zhao Ping's ugly and stupid face, the angrier Qin Yuan got. At this time, Qin Dahai also came back from the field. He shouted in the direction of the kitchen, Is the food ready? If it's ready, let's eat. I'm so hungry. Men tend to get hungry more easily when they work in the fields, because they use a lot of strength when they work. Hearing Qin Dahai's voice, Qin Yuan asked Zhao Ping, My father asked if the food is ready. Is it ready now? Zhao Ping nodded. Big brother Yuan, it's almost done. It's almost done burning. Qin Yuan nodded, but he felt a little uneasy. He always felt that Zhao Ping was unreliable. Since it's almost done, you should hurry up and get busy. My father and I haven't eaten yet. I'm exhausted from all the work and I'm starving. Got it, big brother Yuan. I'll be quick. You go out and wait first. We'll be able to eat in a while. Qin Yuan wiped the sweat off his forehead and walked out of the kitchen. He really didn't want to spend another second with Zhao Ping. After all, he felt annoyed whenever he saw Zhao Ping. Then hurry up and stop dawdling. Got it, big brother Yuan. Qin Yuan went out of the kitchen and waited for a while. At first, he chose to believe in Zhao Ping, thinking that this woman might not be so stupid. Who knew that he had overestimated Zhao Ping? After a while, the smoke in the kitchen didn't dissipate. Instead, there was a burning smell. Qin Yuan's eyebrows twitched, and he instantly felt that something was wrong. Just as he was hesitating, Mu Chunfang had already rushed into the kitchen. Ping, the lass, what did you burn? Cough, cough, cough. It's choking. How did you burn this torch? Mu Chunfang questioned angrily. Zhao Ping looked at Mu Chunfang pitifully and said, Mother, I don't know how it burned. It burned and burned. I also burned the torch according to what you said. I don't know why there's so much smoke. Chapter 1083. Mu Chunfang hurriedly looked at the stove. The thick pile of grass and wooden sticks were all piled together without a single gap. It was strange that there wasn't much smoke. She had never seen anyone start a fire like this in all her years. Not to mention that Zhao Ping was an adult, even a child of a few years old would know how to start a fire, right? Ping, lass, you're already an adult. Why don't you know how to start a fire? Mother even taught you today. Zhao Ping pursed her lips and said, Mother, I'm just following your instructions. Isn't it just like this? Mu Chunfang glared fiercely at Zhao Ping. What do you mean by that? Are you an idiot? When did I teach you to start a fire like this? Mother, it's like this from the start. Look at how stubborn you are. Who would start a fire by piling everything inside? It's so full that it would be strange if there wasn't such a big smoke in the kitchen. Mu Chunfang cursed. She was shedding tears because of the thick smoke. It was really too smoky and mesmerizing. She couldn't stay here for too long. Otherwise, she would really kill someone. I was wondering why there was such a big smoke. So it's because of this. Mother, next time, I won't make such a big smoke when I start a fire. Mu Chunfang snorted softly. She could forgive Zhao Ping for the first time. But if Zhao Ping did it again, she would give her a good scolding. All right, then be careful next time. Don't start a fire like this. After saying that, Mu Chunfang thought of the burnt smell again. Ping, the lass, what did you burn? As he said that, Mu Chunfang had already opened the pot. Then she found a black lump in the pot. Mu Chunfang had a bad feeling. He hurriedly pointed at the black thing in the pot and asked, Ping, girl, what did you put in there? When Zhao Ping saw Mu Chunfang's sullen face, she trembled and said, Mother, it's the vegetables in the cupboard. Mu Chunfang rushed to the cupboard when he heard that. When he opened it, he found that the meat that was originally placed inside was gone. There was no need to think about who had taken it. It was a good bowl of meat, and it was left over from the banquet. There were not many dishes left at home, and Mu Chunfang wanted to eat it slowly. He did not expect that Zhao Ping would spoil it like this. Zhao Ping could feel the chill emanating from Mu Chunfang's body and asked worriedly, Mother, what's wrong with you? Are you angry? I wanted to reheat the vegetables in the bowl, but I didn't expect them to burn accidentally. Mu Chunfang was so angry that his whole body trembled. How could she burn a dish when she was just reheating it? He really had to hand it to her. If this kind of thing were to spread, people would probably laugh to death. If it was done by a child, it would be fine. However, Zhao Ping was an adult, and yet she could burn a dish. It could only be said that there was something wrong with Zhao Ping's IQ. This woman was definitely stupid. Mother, don't be angry. I know I was wrong. I won't do it again. Zhao Ping quickly lowered her head and apologized. Mu Chunfang glared at Zhao Ping and felt like he wanted to vent his anger. Next time? You dare to do it again? If there is a next time, won't our family's food be ruined by you? Chapter 1084. Mu Chunfang felt that he was talking nonsense to Zhao Ping. It was simply useless to say anything more. He could only sigh heavily. Sigh, what sin did our family Qin commit? He actually married such a stupid wife. This is simply a rebellion. How are we going to live in the future? After Mu Chunfang finished nagging, Qin Yuan walked into the kitchen and said to Mu Chunfang, "Mother, what's wrong?" Mu Chunfang slapped his thigh and said to Qin Yuan, "Sigh, isn't it all because of this good wife of yours? Just lighting a torch and choking someone to death in our family's kitchen. That's fine. Now, she directly burned the leftover meat from our family's banquet. Sigh, a bowl of meat is worth a lot of money. We can't bear to eat it more than a few times a year, but she directly burned a bowl." After hearing Mu Chunfang's nagging, Qin Yuan's brows were tightly knitted together. He looked in Zhao Ping'er's direction. Zhao Ping'er's heart tightened. She knew that Qin Yuan would definitely be angry with her again. Big brother Yuan. Qin Yuan could not wait to rush up and give Zhao Ping'er a good beating. However, this idiot Zhao Ping'er, even if he beat her up, it would probably be useless. "You don't know anything. Other than eating, you only know how to sleep. Zhao Ping'er, you are really capable. If you still don't learn from my mother properly, see if I don't beat you to death. Also, you wasted a bowl of meat. Don't eat it for lunch today. Big brother Yuan, I'll be hungry if I don't eat." Zhao Ping'er grumbled pitifully. "Huh, you actually know that you're hungry. Big brother Yuan, don't talk to me, mother. Let's cook for lunch ourselves. Let her go hungry alone." Mu Chunfang nodded. "All right, then let's cook for ourselves." Damn, Zhao Ping'er was really unreliable. Fortunately, there were still some leftovers at home. Taking the time to heat them up, it was quite fast. Thus, because of this matter, Zhao Ping'er did not have lunch at noon. Usually, when Zhao Ping'er was in the third branch, she would eat 2 or 3 bowls of rice every meal. Now, her stomach was bloated. She didn't eat much yesterday and didn't eat much for breakfast. The porridge in her stomach had long been digested. She hadn't eaten anything for lunch yet. Zhao Ping'er was so hungry that her chest was sticking to her back. In the afternoon, she felt that her stomach was very empty, but there was nothing to eat. Knowing that the Qin Yuan was angry, Zhao Ping'er didn't dare to steal anything from the kitchen. Otherwise, it would be better if she stole something to fill her stomach. "So hungry," Zhao Ping'er mumbled as she rubbed her stomach. She sat on the stool, her entire body feeling weak. Closing her eyes, she suddenly thought of home. These days, because the third branch had been entertaining the men who went to work, it could be said that they had meat for every meal. Although there wasn't much meat, she could at least get a few pieces to eat. Thinking of this, Zhao Ping'er licked the corner of her mouth. She wanted to go home and eat something. After getting married, she realized how good her family was. But thinking about the Qin Yuan again, she still had to stay. Just as she was closing her eyes, someone suddenly walked over and pushed her. Zhao Ping'er was caught off guard and directly fell, landing heavily on the ground. "Ouch!" Zhao Ping'er cried out in pain. When she looked up, she saw Qin Chuan's face. When he heard Zhao Ping'er crying out in pain from the fall, Qin Chuan laughed out loud. "Haha, she fell, she fell." Qin Chuan laughed as he shouted. Chapter 1085. It was already bad enough that she was hungry. Now that she finally had a chance to rest, she was bullied by an idiot. The more Zhao Ping'er thought about it, the angrier she got. She glared at Qin Chuan angrily. "Why did you push me?" It hurts, Qin Chuan mumbled. He didn't answer Zhao Ping'er's question. He was still as excited as before. Zhao Ping'er took a deep breath. Why was she being so calculative with an idiot? If she asked Qin Chuan why he pushed her, would the idiot tell her why? However, Zhao Ping'er couldn't bear with this grievance. She walked up to Qin Chuan and pushed him to the ground. "You idiot, you still know how to bully others. Because I don't dare to bully you? If you do this again, I'll teach you a lesson." After being pushed to the ground by Zhao Ping'er, Qin Chuan was also in pain. For a moment, he lay on the ground and shouted into the house, "Mother, mother, the ugly monster hit me, the ugly monster hit me." After hearing Qin Chuan's shouts, Mu Chunfang hurriedly rushed out of the house. When he saw Qin Chuan lying on the ground, he hurriedly said to him, "Ah, Chuan, what's wrong with you? Why are you lying on the ground?" Hurry up and get up. The ground is too dirty. You'll dirty your clothes later. Although Qin Chuan was an idiot, he was still a piece of flesh that fell from Mu Chuanfang's body. He still treasured Qin Chuan. However, Qin Chuan didn't get up from the ground. He said to Mu Chuanfang, "Mother, the ugly monster pushed me, the ugly monster pushed me." As Qin Chuan shouted, he pointed his finger at Zhao Ping. Originally, Mu Chuanfang was unhappy because Zhao Ping had burned the food in the afternoon. His resentment hadn't dissipated yet. Now, Zhao Ping was bullying her idiot son again. Mu Chuanfang said to Zhao Ping, "Ping, what are you doing?" "Mother, he pushed me first. I was sitting properly, but he ran over and pushed me to the ground. It hurts." Zhao Ping began to complain. Mu Chuanfang's brows furrowed as she asked Qin Chuan, "Chuan, why did you push her? She's becoming more and more disobedient." Qin Chuan muttered, "Mother, she's an idiot. Chuan doesn't like her." Mu Chuanfang was stunned. "Chuan, it doesn't matter if you don't like her. She still has to live with us in the future." After thinking for a moment, Mu Chuanfang said earnestly to Qin Chuan, "She to Qin Chuan's to get Qin Chuan's Chuan to live to be Chuan's to Qin Chuan to be to be married to Qin Chuan's. The two of them would still have to sleep together at night. Mother, she's ugly. Chuan has never seen anyone so ugly." Qin Chuan held Mu Chuanfang's hand and shook it as he spoke. Mu Chuanfang didn't know what to say. "Chuan, there's nothing you can do if she's ugly. She was born like this." "Mother," Zhao Yin was gritting her teeth in anger. "This idiot, isn't he too much? He actually said that I'm ugly. It's good enough that I didn't call him an idiot." In front of Mu Chuanfang, Zhao Ping couldn't say anything. She could only clench her fists in anger and curse in her heart. "This idiot, I'll teach him a lesson later." She didn't know if he had done something wrong in his previous life. In this life, not only was he poor and bitter, he even gave birth to a foolish son. Now he had a strange wife. His family's life was getting worse and worse. All right, let's not talk about you anymore. Hurry up and take off your pants." Mu Chuanfang called out. Chapter 1087. After taking off his pants, everything inside his pants fell out. When Mu Chuanfang saw this, he felt slightly disgusted. "Sai, Chuan, you have to wash up first. Otherwise, the inside of his new pants would be dirty too." Qin Chuan nodded. Mu Chuanfang shouted outside, "Ping, hurry up and get some water from the canister." Hearing Mu Chuanfang's shout, Zhao Ping quickly got up even though she was too lazy to move. Otherwise, Mu Chuanfang would probably get anxious and scold her again. Zhao Ping took a wooden basin to the canister in the kitchen and got some hot water. Then she rubbed some cold water into it. When she felt that the temperature was suitable, she carried the wooden basin into the house. She had originally thought that Mu Chuanfang would wash his face or do something. When she went in, she was almost scared out of her wits. Because Qin Chuan had taken off his pants and was standing in the house. Zhao Ping was stunned for a few seconds before she heard Mu Chuanfang roar, "You little girl, what are you waiting for? Hurry up and come over." Zhao Ping swallowed her saliva and muttered to Mu Chuanfang, "Mother, he's not wearing pants." Mu Chuanfang said nonchalantly, "So what if he's not wearing pants? What's wrong with that?" "Mother, I can't look." Zhao Ping muttered. After all, she was still a girl. She and Qin Chuan were not husband and wife. How could she have the nerve to look at Qin Chuan's lower body? However, even though she said that, Zhao Ping couldn't help but glance down at Qin Chuan's lower body. Last night, she was a little groggy, so she didn't see what Qin Yuan's lower body looked like. Now that she saw Qin Chuan, she thought that it should look similar. Aren't they all men's? After staring for a few seconds, Zhao Ping reluctantly retracted her gaze. "What's wrong with that? I watch it every day. Now that you've married into our family, you're our family's daughter-in-law. It doesn't matter if you see it." Mu Chunfang replied indifferently. Mu Chunfang wanted Zhao Ping to be Qin Chuan's wife. She would definitely see Qin Chuan's private parts. If he had finished reading it earlier, he would have seen it anyway. It didn't matter if he saw it now. Zhao Ping replied weakly, "Oh, come Chuang. Mother will help you wash and wipe your face." Mu Chunfang called out. Qin Chuan cooperatively spread his legs and stuck out his butt. Only then did Zhao Ping realize why she brought the water in. It turned out that Qin Chuan had peed and pooped all over his pants. She was wiping it off for him. Looking at the pants on the floor and the poop on them, Zhao Ping felt nauseous. How disgusting! Now that she thought about it, it was a good thing that she hadn't eaten anything in the afternoon. Otherwise, she would have vomited when she saw this scene. Other than looking disgusting, the room was filled with a very foul smell. Zhao Ping quickly pinched her nose. She looked at Mu Chunfang, who seemed to be used to it, and continued wiping Qin Chuan. After wiping him once, he called out to Zhao Ping, "Ping, get me some more water. I'll continue wiping." Zhao Ping replied, "Oh, mother, I'll go now." However, when she carried the wooden tray, Zhao Ping's brows furrowed tightly together. She kept feeling the stench from the wooden tray enter her nose. This Qin Chuan, how could such an adult do such a thing? Chapter 1088. Even if she wanted to complain, she had no place to do so. He was a fool. What could she say? She just didn't expect Qin Chuan to be so foolish. How could he even pee and poop into his pants? Even a fool should know how to take off his pants. Sigh. Zhao Ping sighed deeply. She only hoped that Qin Chuan wasn't like this. Otherwise, she would go crazy. If he helped Mu Chunfang serve Qin Chuan like this every day, he would probably go crazy. Zhao Ping poured out the water in the basin and rinsed the wooden basin with cold water. Then, she fetched some clean water and brought it into the house. Mu Chunfang continued to wipe Qin Chuan's body and helped him put on his pants. After he was done, Mu Chunfang turned around and saw Zhao Ping pinching her nose with a look of disdain. Although it was understandable, Mu Chunfang was still unhappy. If it was anyone else, so be it. But since Zhao Ping was married, she was part of their family Qin. No matter what, Zhao Ping shouldn't despise Qin Chuan. After all, he still wanted Zhao Ping to be Qin Chuan's wife in the future. When she was old and no longer in this world, his Chuan would need someone to take care of him. If Zhao Ping became Qin Chuan's wife, she would definitely do this. Mu Chunfang wondered if he should let Zhao Ping do it the next time Qin Chuan peed or pooped in his pants. Now that Zhao Yun was used to it, she would naturally know how to help him in the future. Zhao Ping saw Mu Chunfang looking at her and asked, "Mother, why are you looking at me? Why are you covering your nose?" Mu Chunfang asked. Zhao Ping pursed her lips and said, "Mother, isn't it smelly?" "Of course I'm pinching my nose," Mu Chunfang replied unhappily. "Smelly? Why are you smelly? It's not like you haven't pooped before." "Mother." Zhao Ping didn't know what to say to Mu Chunfang. It was smelly to begin with, and she didn't say anything wrong. Why would he be unhappy over such a small matter? It's so pitiful to be married. Just a small matter can make people unhappy. All right. Mu Chunfang did not want to talk about Zhao Ping anymore. Instead, she gently said to Qin Chuan, "Chuan, hurry up and go out to play." Qin Chuan nodded and said, "Okay, mother, I'll go out then." All right. Qin Chuan was like a child. He put on clean pants and skipped out of the house. Zhao Ping watched as Qin Chuan left and prepared to leave the house. After all, the smell in the house was too bad. She wanted to go out and take in some fresh air. However, before she could step out, she was stopped by Mu Chunfang. "Ping, where did you go?" "Mother, there's nothing else." "I'll go out first. Who said there's nothing else?" Mu Chunfang frowned unhappily and nagged at Ping. "Mother, what else is there?" Zhao Ping looked at Mu Chunfang nervously. "Didn't you see that there's something on the floor in the house? Why didn't you clean it up?" Mu Chunfang replied unhappily. Zhao Ping stared at the floor. There was indeed something on the floor. It was Qin Chuan's poop and the dirty pants he took off. Xiaoping took a look, and her stomach continued to churn. Then she said to Mu Chunfang, "Mother, how should I clean it up?" And it was so disgusting. Why should she clean it up? Chapter 1089. What else can I do? Take a broom and sweep it up. Also, wash Chuaner's pants, Mu Chunfang said in a commanding tone. Since he had married a wife, he naturally had to order her around. It wasn't easy for a wife to become a mother-in-law, so she had to enjoy it. Xiaoping didn't know how to cook, but she should be able to wash clothes and clean the house, right? If she didn't even know how to do that, then it could only be said that this wife was useless. Mother. Xiaoping frowned and looked very unhappy. It was fine if she was just washing clothes, but the problem was that the clothes were too dirty. When she thought about how it was stained with Qin Chuan's feces and urine, Xiaoping felt nauseous. What's wrong? You can't even order me to do a job? Xiaoping pursed her lips. Mother, it's not that I can't order you around, but it's too difficult. Why is it difficult? Mu Chunfang frowned and asked. Mother, look, there's so much feces and urine on it. I feel disgusted. Xiaoping looked at Mu Chunfang pitifully. Mu Chunfang saw that Xiaoping didn't want to do it, so he said to Xiaoping, what's wrong with this? Didn't mother wash it often in the past? Seriously. If you don't want to do it, then you don't want to do it. Don't make so many excuses. It's not that I don't want to do it. It's really difficult. Xiaoping glanced at the things on the floor again. If she looked at it any longer, she probably wouldn't be able to eat dinner. Okay, don't give me so many excuses. If you don't want to do it, then you don't want to do it. Mu Chunfang said and snorted in displeasure. Xiaoping pouted and felt wronged. At this moment, Qin Yuan happened to come back from work. When he heard Mu Chunfang's voice in the house, he went into the house and asked Mu Chunfang, Mother, what's wrong? What happened? Mu Chunfang sighed at Qin Yuan and said, Sigh, Yuan, it's actually nothing much. It's just that you can't even order Ping to do some work. After Mu Chunfang finished speaking, Qin Yuan's sharp gaze landed on Xiaoping. Ping couldn't help but tremble when Qin Yuan looked at her like this. Big brother Yuan. Xiaoping glanced at Qin Yuan pitifully. Seeing Qin Yuan's attitude, she knew that Qin Yuan was definitely going to be angry. Xiaoping, do you think there's a woman like you? You've done so many stupid things. I don't even have time to scold you. Don't you know how to be filial to your elders? Qin Yuan said coldly to Xiaoping. Xiaoping's heart trembled a few times. She knew that it was useless even if she tried to explain. After all, Qin Yuan's heart was definitely on Mu Chunfang's side. In order to not anger Qin Yuan, Xiaoping could only say, Big brother Yuan, I didn't say that I won't do it. I'll do it now, okay? Hearing Xiaoping say this, Mu Chunfang's anger subsided a little. Big brother Yuan, we're already married. What's wrong with this? Big brother Yuan, Xiaoping, shut up. If you say another word, do you believe that I'll throw you out? Zhao was intimidated and could only reply, Got it, big brother Yuan. Qin Yuan continued to say coldly, Also, sleep further away at night. Don't come near me. You better behave. If I find out what you did, see how I'll deal with you. Xiaoping answered weakly, Got it, big brother Yuan. Chapter 1091. It's good that you know. Go to sleep. After saying this, Qin Yuan went to sleep on one side of the bed. There was a quilt between him and Xiaoping. In this way, the two of them could not touch each other. Qin Yuan felt a little more secure when he put on his clothes and went to sleep. If there were more rooms in the house, he would not squeeze in with Xiaoping. Xiaoping had to lie down on the other side of the bed. She was secretly glad that she had listened to Ma Xiaofeng. If she had not listened to Qin Yuan, he probably would never have touched her. The burning passion incense began to take effect. Qin Yuan, who was sleeping in a daze, suddenly felt a burst of heat in his body. It was very uncomfortable. He originally wanted to put on his clothes and sleep. In the end, he could not stand the heat and took off his clothes. However, he thought that he would be fine after taking off his clothes. Unfortunately, after taking off his clothes, his body continued to feel hot and uncomfortable. There seemed to be a big fire in his body that could not be extinguished. His mouth was a little dry, and his whole body was about to smoke. Qin Yuan was puzzled. What was going on? Why did he feel so uncomfortable? His body's desires suddenly broke out. He looked sideways at Zhao Ping, who was lying on the side. At this time, Zhao Ping, also took off her clothes because of the heat. Qin Yuan did not know why, but when he saw Zhao Ping like this, his heart burned restlessly. An impulse appeared in his mind, which was to do that thing with Zhao Ping. Qin Yuan shook his head hard. No. How could he have such thoughts about Zhao Ping? He did not even want to touch Zhao Ping, that ugly woman, let alone do that thing with Zhao Ping. He must be confused because of the heat. Unfortunately, after a few seconds of sobriety, he was suddenly overwhelmed by his body's reaction. Qin Yuan turned over and pressed down on Zhao Ping. Big brother Yuan. Zhao Ping whispered softly into Qin Yuan's ear. Qin Yuan was even more agitated. Big brother Yuan, I like you so much. Big brother Yuan, let's do that. As Zhao Ping spoke, she grabbed the thing under the Qin Yuan. Qin Yuan's body trembled for a moment. He had a feeling that he couldn't control himself. An impulse rushed into Zhao Ping's body. For a moment, the room was in turmoil again. Zhao Ping screamed even louder than last night. Qin Dahai and Mu Chunfang, who were in the room next door, heard the commotion in Zhao Ping and Qin Yuan's room. The two of them looked at each other in confusion. Qin Dahai said, Yuan's mother, what's wrong with Yuan? Early in the morning, he came over and said that we sent him to Ping's room. He even said that he didn't want to sleep with Ping. After doing that thing with Ping, he specially washed his body. You said that he drank too much yesterday. I can understand. After all, drunk sex is messed up. But what's the meaning of tonight? He won't come over tomorrow morning to blame us, right? Mu Chunfang was silent for a moment before saying, I don't think so. Yuan's father, actually, this is normal. It's nothing. Yuan is also a man. Which man doesn't like to cheat? Just happens to be in the prime of his youth. Although Ping is a little ugly, when a woman covers herself with a blanket, the feeling is the same. Chapter 1092. After listening to Mu Chunfang's explanation, Qin Dahai nodded repeatedly. He felt that Mu Chunfang's words made a lot of sense. That was indeed the case. How many of them could control themselves from doing it? It was fine if it was any other time, but there was a woman lying in front of him. How could he not control himself? Moreover, the woman was covered with a blanket. It was really the same. Anyway, the feeling of doing it was similar. It was very satisfying. Yeah, looking at Yuan I reckon the two of us will be able to hold a grandson soon. Mu Chunfang smiled and nodded. That's right. There were people who mocked our family Qin for not having a descendant. Now it's all good. We'll slap their faces when we have a grandson. Mu Chunfang also smiled and said, Good. Qin Dahai advised earnestly, don't order Ping around too much. If Ping is pregnant, our family Qin will at least have a descendant. We have to take good care of her. His father, I know. It's not that fast, right? Let's train Ping well now. Otherwise, she won't know how to work when the time comes. Qin Dahai replied, Sure. As long as it's not too much, it's fine. A pregnant woman can't do heavy work. Our household chores aren't heavy work. Don't worry, old man. Don't worry about this. That's fine. The two of them chatted for a long time. In the next room, Zhao Ping and Qin Yuan had no intention of stopping. Qin Dahai and Mu Chunfang laughed softly. Qin Dahai sighed and said, Sigh, it's still good to be young. You have strength when you're young. You don't feel tired even after working for so long. Mu Chunfang joked, of course. Back then, you were much better than Yuan, or when you were young. Back then we just got married. You could work for an entire night. Qin Dahai was rather proud. That's right. I can't let you be unsatisfied. You old man, aren't you ashamed? Ha, what's there to be ashamed of? We've been husband and wife for so many years, what's there to be embarrassed about? Oomph. Mu Chunfang snorted softly, as if he didn't want to continue this topic with Qin Dahai. At this moment, Qin Chuan, who was sleeping at the side, was woken up by the commotion caused by Zhao Ping and Qin Yuan. Qin Chuan rubbed his eyes. Seeing that Qin Chuan had woken up, Mu Chunfang asked Qin Chuan, Chuan, why are you awake? Qin Chuan shouted, Mother, there's so much commotion next to us. And that ugly monster's screams woke me up. Mother, what are they doing? Upon hearing Qin Chuan's words, Mu Chunfang didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Zhao Pinger wasn't screaming. She was screaming because she was comfortable. That's why she was screaming. However, he couldn't explain this to Qin Chuan. After all, Qin Chuan was a fool and didn't know much about this. Hence, he said to Qin Chuan, it's nothing. Hurry up and go to sleep. Qin Chuan frowned and said unhappily, Mother, how can it be nothing? There must be something. Mother, I want to see what they're doing. It's so noisy that I can't sleep. Mu Chunfang hurriedly pulled Qin Chuan back. If Qin Chuan ran over to take a look, it would be terrible. How could he be disturbed? Chuan, don't go. It should be fine. Chapter 1093. Mu Chunfang was slightly taken aback, and the corners of her mouth twitched. She smiled embarrassedly and said, I think so. Only then did Qin Yuan nod his head. Mother, that's more or less it. I was wondering why she screamed so miserably. Little brother Yuan, did well. That ugly freak has to teach her a lesson. She even bullied me today. Mu Chunfang hurriedly agreed. Yes. You're right. So your little brother Yuan will help you vent your anger now. He's teaching that girl a lesson right now. Qin Chuan happily said, Mother, I'll teach that ugly freak a lesson later too. I'll also beat that ugly freak until she screams like this. Mu Chunfang smiled and nodded. Okay. You can do whatever you want. Actually, if Zhao Ping became Qin Chuan's wife in the future, Qin Chuan would definitely have to do this with Zhao Ping. It was a pity that Qin Chuan was a fool and didn't know anything about this. If she explained to Qin Chuan that this was bullying Zhao Ping, Qin Chuan would probably be very motivated. Thinking of this, Mu Chunfang's heart was filled with happiness. Something suddenly appeared in her mind, so she pulled Qin Chuan and said, Chuan, Mother will bring you to secretly take a look. Don't disturb him. Your little brother Yuan, is fine. If you disturb him, he won't help you teach Zhao Ping, a lesson. Qin Chuan nodded heavily and replied, Mother, I know. Don't worry, I definitely won't disturb him. Mu Chunfang said with a satisfied look, All right, let's go. Mother will bring you to take a look. But Qin Chuan nodded excitedly. Seeing that Mu Chunfang wanted to bring Qin Chuan to take a peek, Qin Dahai looked at Mu Chunfang with a puzzled look and asked, Yuan's mother, where are you going? Mu Chunfang had a mysterious smile on her face. Yuan's father, I'm bringing Chuan to learn something. Qin Dahai was puzzled. Learn something? What are you studying? Hee. Mu Chunfang chuckled and whispered into Qin Dahai's ear. Yuan's father, I'm bringing Chuan to learn how to do that. Mu Chunfang began to explain. Qin Chuan was a fool. If he got together with Zhao Ping in the future, he might not do such things in bed. Someone had to teach Qin Chuan first. After all, this was not something that could be learned without a teacher. Now that Qin Chuan had taken a look and learned it, he wouldn't have to worry about it in the future. Qin Dahai nodded. All right then, you guys can go. Yuan's mother, keep your voice down. You even startled them. Mu Chunfang chuckled. Don't worry, Yuan's father won't. All right, that's good. Hee. With that, Mu Chunfang brought Qin Chuan out. The two of them arrived in front of Zhao Ping and Qin Yuan's room. Mu Chunfang secretly opened the window, and from where she and Qin Chuan were standing, they could see the scene inside. When they looked in, they saw two naked bodies entangled together. Qin Yuan was on top, and Zhao Ping was below. Qin Yuan was doing his best. After seeing Qin Yuan and Zhao Ping like this, Qin Chuan asked Mu Chunfang with a puzzled look, "Mother, why does little Yuan have to be like this when he's bullying others? He has to take off all his clothes." Mu Chunfang hurriedly made a shushing gesture. "Chuan, keep your voice down. Otherwise, they'll hear you from inside." "Oh." Qin Chuan hurriedly nodded in response. Chapter 1094. Mu Chunfang called out to Qin Chuan. Then he explained to Qin Chuan, "Chuan, this is how your brother Yuan bullies people. Look, Ping is screaming so miserably. Bullying her like this is even more painful than hitting her. If you want to make her suffer, you have to use this method. Look at how good your brother Yuan is to you. In order to help you vent your anger, he bullied her for so long." Qin Chuan nodded and stared at Zhao Ping and Qin Yuan. He remembered Mu Chunfang's words. He had to learn how to bully Zhao Ping like this in the future. Let's see if Zhao Ping still dared to hit him. "Yuan, did you see it clearly?" Mu Chunfang asked. Qin Chuan nodded. "Yes, mother, I saw it clearly." Mu Chunfang smiled and said, "It's good that you saw it clearly. Then tell mother, how did your brother Yuan do it?" Qin Chuan said, "Mother, I saw brother Yuan use his thing down there to get it into the ugly monster's crotch and then stab it inside." Qin Yuan's answer made Mu Chunfang unable to hold back his laughter. Although Mu Chunfang was right, his description was too funny. "Mother, what are you laughing at? Could it be that I'm wrong?" Mu Chunfang smiled and said, "Yes, yes, yes. You're right. Mother, then I'll bully the ugly monster like this later. Okay. Since Chuaner knows how to do it, let's go in and rest." Before leaving, Qin Chuan took another look at Zhao Ping and Qin Yuan in the room. He cheered for Qin Yuan in his heart, hoping that Qin Yuan could persist for a while longer and bully Zhao Ping, this ugly monster. The next morning, when Qin Yuan woke up again, he realized that he had taken off all his clothes. Zhao Ping was also naked and lying beside him. Qin Yuan's veins bulged. He remembered what happened last night. He actually touched Zhao Ping again. What the hell? He clearly felt disgusted whenever he saw Zhao Ping, but why couldn't he control himself? It must be Zhao Ping. That woman must have done something secretly. Qin Yuan pulled Zhao Ping up from the bed and asked her angrily, "Zhao Ping, you be asterisk, tell me what you did." Zhao Ping met Qin Yuan's angry eyes. She knew what Qin Yuan was talking about. "Big brother Yuan, I didn't do anything." Zhao Ping mumbled. "Nothing? If I didn't do anything, would I touch you properly?" "Big brother Yuan, that's how it is in the first place." Zhao Ping, "If you don't give me an explanation today, see how I'll deal with you." Zhao Ping didn't know what to say. If she told Qin Yuan clearly that she lit the burning passion incense, then wouldn't Qin Yuan kill her? Furthermore, she wouldn't be able to do this to Qin Yuan in the future. "Big brother Yuan, I don't know what you said. Anyway, I didn't do anything to you." Qin Yuan didn't have any evidence, and it wasn't good for him to accuse Zhao Ping. He could only warn Zhao Ping. "Zhao Ping, remember this. You better not do anything. If I find out that you did something to me, you'll get it." After Qin Yuan finished speaking, he walked out of the room in a huff. Thinking about what he did with Zhao Ping last night, how could he still be in the mood? Chapter 1095. When Mu Chunfang saw Qin Yuan's sullen face and angry expression and that he wanted to take a bath, she said to Qin Yuan, "Hey, why do you want to take a bath again? You have to go home with Ping today. Don't stay up too late." After all, the rules had to be followed. Today was the third day since Zhao Ping got married. According to the village rules, Qin Yuan had to accompany Zhao Ping back to her parents' home and prepare some things for them. However, the Qin family was too poor, so Mu Chunfang only prepared some of the worst and most basic things for Qin Yuan. Qin Yuan replied with a sullen face, "I know, mother. There's no hurry. Boil some water for me first. I'll take a bath. It's no use going there too early. If I go back later, I can still make it in time for lunch. If I go to look for them, I might have to help out." When Mu Chunfang heard this, she felt that it made sense. "All right then. Mother will boil some water for you to take a bath. You can go back with Ping Er later." Qin Yuan faintly nodded his head in response. He was so cooperative because he felt that Zhao Ping Er's family's food was really good. He liked to eat it. Not only could he eat a very sumptuous meal, but Zhao Yun Er's culinary skills were also not comparable to ordinary people's. Besides, when Zhao Ping Er returned to her parents' home, Liang Jinxiao and the others would probably be entertained by these delicious dishes. When he thought of this, Qin Yuan felt a little better. After Zhao Yun and Liang Jinxiao arrived in Yang City, they started to take care of the stall. After resting for a few days, there were fewer customers. They probably thought that their stall had not opened yet. However, Zhao Yun was not in a hurry. She did not prepare a lot of breakfast today. She would go back after selling out. She did not expect to earn a little more money. At 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning, they saw two men in their 20s walking towards their stall. One of the men in blue said to the other man in yellow, "Young master, I heard that the breakfast at this breakfast stall is the best. You're really lucky today. This breakfast stall hasn't been open for the past 2 days. I didn't expect it to open when you came." The yellow-robed man nodded and said, "That's good. This young master is curious as to what this restaurant's breakfast tastes like for you to praise it to such an extent." The blue-clothed man chuckled. "I'm not praising it. I've only heard of it. After all, I've never eaten it before." The yellow-clothed man also laughed. "All right then, since that's the case, let's both go and have a taste." All right. The two of them walked to Zhao Yun'er's breakfast stall. Because there weren't many people today, there were still seats available. Mu Hin gestured for the two men to sit down. "Please have a seat, young masters. What would you like to order? I'll bring it to you." The yellow-clothed man looked at the blue-clothed man. "What do you want to eat? Recommend it. This young master doesn't know." The blue-clothed man also shook his head. "Young master, I haven't eaten here either. I don't know what to order." The yellow-clothed man sighed slightly. "Forget it. We don't have to order." After speaking, the yellow-clothed man said to Mu Hin, "It's the first time we've eaten here. We don't know what's good. Why don't you recommend a few dishes to us?" Chapter 1096. The man in yellow nodded and said, "All right then, we'll serve what you've mentioned." The man in blue beside him quickly added, "Young master, isn't this a little too little? I've never had a good appetite. If you have a good appetite, then order more. Young lady, what else do you have for us? Just serve us whatever you like." The man in yellow smiled and said. Mu Hin responded again, "All right then. Young masters, I'll add 2 vegetable buns, 2 meat buns, and a plate of fried dumplings. This is quite a lot. I'll fill you up." Padil. After seeing the man in yellow nod, Mu Hin quickly went to serve breakfast for the two of them. She specially prepared a small plate of vinegar for the fried dumplings. Dipping the dumplings in vinegar would make them taste much better. As the two men sat and waited, they took a few breaths of the fragrance in the air. This kind of fragrant smell stimulated their appetite. The man in yellow was a little curious. "It does seem quite good. I feel like the food I usually eat isn't here. Indeed, good things are in the common folk. I've missed out on a lot in the past." The man in blue added, "That's true. You should go out more often and experience the scenery and food of different places." The man in yellow laughed again. "I have a lot of things to do on a daily basis. How can I be like you? If it's possible, I'd like to go out and walk around too." "It's fine. Aren't you out now? Our Sun City is enough for you to stay." The two of them didn't say much before Mu Hin served the food on the table. "Young masters, I've served everything for you. Take your time and eat." "All right, thank you, young lady." You're welcome, young master. The man in blue and the man in yellow looked at the breakfast on the table. Although it was a little simple, it gave them a different feeling. Perhaps it was because they didn't usually eat these, but now it was a novelty. Come, try it. Ha, good. The two of them each took a bite of the wonton first. The wonton skin was thin and there was a lot of meat filling. It was very refreshing. Moreover, there was a unique freshness in the meat. They fell in love with it after tasting it once. Not only was the meat filling delicious, but the wonton soup was also light and refreshing. It was very good. After tasting the wontons, the two of them tasted the fried dumplings. When dipped in vinegar, the skin was crispy and the meat inside was fragrant and delicious. Even the ordinary green vegetable buns tasted better than what he usually ate. The yellow-robed man couldn't help but praise, "It's really delicious. This young master has never eaten such delicious breakfast before." The blue-robed man nodded and said, "Indeed, the chefs in my residence can't even cook half as well." After he finished speaking, the blue-clothed man sighed deeply. The mansion spends a lot of money to hire cooks every year, but they can't compare to this stall owner. In comparison, the money spent is a bit of a loss. When the yellow-clothed man heard this, the smile on his face grew even wider. If he said that the money spent was a loss, then wouldn't he say the same thing? "I've had a meal today. I can eat while I'm in Yang City, but there will be a time when I have to leave. Once I leave, I probably won't be able to eat anymore." The man in yellow sighed as he ate. "Young master, if you want to eat it, it's not impossible," the blue-clothed man said. Chapter 1097. Young master, why don't you hire the stall owner and ask her to cook for you when you want to eat it? Wouldn't that do? The man in yellow fell silent for a moment. That sounds like a good idea. Why don't you ask her? The man in yellow nodded. All right, I'll ask her. The man in blue called out to the stall owner. Who's the owner of this stall? Zhao Yun walked towards the two men when she heard that. In fact, after these two men came over, Zhao Yun noticed them. Because of the way they were dressed, she could tell that they were different from the rest. It seemed like they had an extraordinary status. However, Zhao Yun did not think too much about it. Yang City was so big, there were many people with extraordinary statuses. These two were not the only ones. "Young master, may I know why you're looking for me?" Zhao Yun asked after she walked over. "Actually, it's nothing much. I just wanted to ask, did you make the breakfast in this stall?" "Of course. Who else would make it?" Since you made it, that's good. How much do you earn in a month by setting up this stall?" The man in blue continued to ask. Zhao Yun frowned. She did not know why the man in blue asked her how much she earned in a month. She was not willing to reveal such a private matter to outsiders. Moreover, these two men's identities were unknown. Why should she tell them? Hence, Zhao Yun replied, "Why are you asking this, young master?" Seeing that Zhao Yun was unwilling to say, the man in blue explained, "Miss, don't misunderstand. We don't have any ill intentions. It's just that my friend likes to eat the breakfast you make. I also think that it tastes very good. But my friend is not from Yang City. If he leaves, he probably won't be able to eat the breakfast you make. So, I'm thinking of hiring you back. If he wants to eat it, you can make it for him. The salary will definitely be much higher than what you earn. Miss, do you want to consider it?" Zhao Yun listened and understood. It turned out to be such a matter. "I'm sorry, but I might have to disappoint this young master's kind intentions. My family is in Sun City, so I will definitely stay in Sun City. No matter how much you pay me, I won't go there." Zhao Yun refused very straightforwardly. When the blue-robed man heard this, he could only sigh. "Since Miss has said so, then we shouldn't force you. However, Miss, you can discuss it with your family and reconsider. I'll make sure you're satisfied with the salary." Zhao Yun nodded. The yellow-clothed man also looked a little disappointed, but there was some appreciation in his eyes when he looked at Zhao Yun. After the two of them had their fill, they stood up and placed an ingot of silver on the table. When Zhao Yun'er saw this, she said to them, "Young masters, you've given too much money. I'll give you the change." The yellow-clothed man waved his hand and said, "There's no need. We're satisfied with the food, so just treat it as a tip." "That won't do. It's how much money it is. I can't take advantage of you." As Zhao Yun'er spoke, she took out dozens of copper coins and silver pieces. She walked in front of the yellow-clothed man and stuffed them into his hands. Zhao Yun'er didn't like the feeling of being rewarded. She wasn't a poor person and didn't need other people's charity. Otherwise, she would be like a beggar. Chapter 1098. His lips couldn't help but curl into a smile. He found Zhao Yun'er quite interesting. This was the first time he had met someone who didn't want more money. The man in yellow smiled and said, "It's actually inconvenient for me to keep so much change. Why don't you take it?" Zhao Yun'er's mouth twitched. Was this what it meant to be a rich fool? Not only did he not want money, he even despised it. This was the first time Zhao Yun'er had seen this. However, she couldn't say anything to this kind of rich man. What could she do if he was happy? That's young master's business. It has nothing to do with me. After Zhao Yun'er finished speaking, she turned back to the stall and continued to take care of her business. The man in yellow's smile deepened. He muttered to himself, "Interesting, interesting, really interesting. Are all the girls in Yang City so unique?" As the man in yellow spoke, he looked at the man in blue beside him. The corners of the blue-robed man's mouth curled up as he replied with a smile. "I don't know either. Maybe this girl is special. I've never seen her like this before." The man in yellow laughed heartily. This is the first time I've seen a woman who doesn't like money." The man in blue followed behind and agreed, That's right. Let's go." "Okay." As the two men spoke, they left Zhao Yun'er's stall. After busying herself for a while in the morning, she packed up the stall. When she went to the market to buy things, she suddenly bumped into young Master Meng. He hadn't met her for so long in Yang City, but he didn't expect to meet her this time. Zhao Yun'er pretended not to see him and wanted to avoid young Master Meng. However, young Master Meng saw her and walked towards Zhao Yun. Zhao Yun'er's brows twitched for a moment. She had a feeling that something bad was going to happen. Sure enough, young Master Meng arrived in front of Zhao Yun'er. He gave Zhao Yun'er a wretched smile and said, "Miss Yun'er, what a coincidence that I ran into you." Zhao Yun'er frowned and pursed her lips. "Yes, what a coincidence. Miss Yun'er, I couldn't remember it before. But now that I've seen you, I've remembered something." Young Master Meng smiled. There seemed to be a deeper meaning in his words, as if he wanted to express something. Zhao Yun'er's heart tightened slightly. She knew that something bad was going to happen. She didn't know what young Master Meng had thought of, but it was fine as long as he wasn't looking for trouble with her. What did young Master Meng think of? Zhao Yun'er raised her eyebrows and asked, "Miss Yun, the things I sent to you last time when I came back, one of them was missing." Zhao Yun'er asked, "What's missing?" "A bolt of silk is missing. It's dozens of taels of silver. I wonder when you'll return it? Although it's a bit late to say it now, since Miss Yun'er insisted on returning it to me, I can't return the other things but keep one." "Don't you think so, Miss Yun'er?" As young Master Meng spoke, there was a trace of calculation in his eyes. "Of course, if Miss Yun'er can't return it, you can use other methods to make up for it. After all, I'm a relatively easygoing person. Dozens of taels of silver isn't a small amount. I can't just let it go like this." Zhao Yun'er frowned. She knew that young Master Meng wanted to ask for it from her and had some other bad ideas. Chapter 1099. She replied with some displeasure, "Young Master Meng, this is your business. You were the one who insisted on giving me those things back then. If you want to give them to me, then so be it. However, these things were given to my grandmother and the others. They were the ones who accepted them. If anything is missing, you can go and find them. This has nothing to do with me." Young Master Meng frowned slightly. He felt that his plan had failed. "Since Miss Yun'er said so, it seems that I have to make a trip to your place later," Young Master Meng's tone carried a hint of threat. When he saw Zhao Yun, his desire to conquer was aroused. Since Zhao Yun'er did not work here, he would make a trip to old Zhao's house. He would force Zhao Yun'er's elders to see if they had a way to make Zhao Yun'er yield to him. Zhao Yun did not take young Master Meng's threat seriously at all. She replied indifferently, "Do as you wish. If you have nothing else, I will go first." Zhao Yun hooked up the corner of her mouth and pulled Liang Jinxiao away. He felt disgusted if he stayed for another second. On the way back, Liang Jinxiao sighed and said to Zhao Yun, your grandmother really took a batch of silk and satin to make clothes for your aunt. Is this silk and satin really as expensive as young Master Meng said? A piece of silk is worth dozens of taels of silver? Zhao Yun shook her head. I don't know if it's worth dozens of taels of silver, but it shouldn't be too cheap. Now that they insist that it's worth dozens of taels of silver, what can we do? Hearing Zhao Yun's words, Liang Jinxiao sighed and said, if it's really worth dozens of taels of silver, then if young Master Meng asks your grandmother and the others for it, where can they find dozens of taels of silver? Obviously, Liang Jinxiao was worried about old Zhao's family. Young Master Meng was no ordinary person. How could they, mere commoners, deal with him? Furthermore, they were the ones who were being unreasonable in this matter. After all, they had taken someone else's things. How could they not return it? Zhao Xinhui used the cloth to make clothes, so the old Zhao family had to pay young Master Meng. Otherwise, it would not make sense. Even if they went to the Yamen to argue, the county magistrate would definitely order old Zhao's family to pay the money back to young Master Meng. But with old Zhao's family situation, not to mention dozens of taels, even a few taels of silver would be good enough. Zhao Yun smiled and comforted Liang Jinxiao. Mother, why are you worrying so much? Asking them to return it is the same as asking us to return it. Grandma and those greedy people have to be taught a lesson like this. Otherwise, how can they learn their lesson? Liang Jinxiao sighed and said, Sai, that's your grandma after all. When the time comes, even chickens and dogs will not have peace. Our family will also be in trouble. What trouble can we get into? Don't tell me they want us to pay these taels of silver? Maybe, Mother, don't think so much. No matter what, I definitely won't pay this money. If it's really impossible, then use little aunt as a substitute. Our little aunt is not bad looking. Perhaps young Master Meng will like her. Liang Jinxiao was slightly stunned. He was convinced by Zhao Yun's words. This girl was really imaginative. Speaking of which, Zhao Xinhui was not young and was not married yet. If she were to marry young Master Meng, Hua Chunhua would probably agree. Chapter 1100. Liang Jinxiao could only nod and reply, Okay. It's Mother who is worrying. After Liang Jinxiao finished speaking, he did not continue on this matter. Not long after, a few people drove the donkey back to the village. When they just returned, Zhao Ping'er and Qin Yuan also came over. When Zhao Yun'er saw that Zhao Ping'er and Qin Yuan had returned home, she could not help but snort coldly in her heart. They really knew how to calculate the time and made it in time for lunch. Zhao Ping'er followed behind Qin Yuan happily. Her face was rosy, and it was obvious that she had just gotten married. Seeing Zhao Ping'er like this, Liang Jinxiao felt slightly relieved in her heart. It seemed that her Ping'er lass was not doing too badly in her in-laws' house. Otherwise, Zhao Ping'er would not be like this. Mother, Zhao Ping'er came in front of Liang Jinxiao and called out with a smile. Come in and have a seat. Liang Jinxiao greeted. Mother, there's no need. Hurry up and cook. Big brother Yuan and I still have to eat. Did you make a lot of delicious food to entertain me today? Zhao Ping'er looked at Liang Jinxiao expectantly. The corner of Liang Jinxiao's mouth twitched slightly. Delicious food? Yes, Mother. When I return home today, there will definitely be a lot of delicious food, right? Little girl Ping'er, just like how you usually do. What else can you prepare? Liang Jinxiao replied in confusion. Returning home was not a big deal. If it was a big deal, it was still possible to prepare. After hearing Liang Jinxiao's words, Zhao Ping pouted unhappily. Mother, how can you be like this? It's not easy for me to make a trip back, and you're still not making delicious food for me. You don't know. Zhao Ping originally wanted to complain that she did not eat well at the family qin and was waiting to eat more today. However, Liang Jinxiao did not specially prepare any delicious food. She glanced at Qin Yuan at the side. If she said this to Liang Jinxiao, Qin Yuan would definitely be angry. Thus, she swallowed her words. Zhao Yun heard this and could not take it anymore. She mocked Zhao Ping. Sister Ping, it's good enough that you have something to eat, but you're still so picky. She had just gotten married 2 days ago, and now she was back. She had just come back 2 days ago. Furthermore, a married daughter is like spilled water. You're no longer a part of our old family. Why do we have to provide you with good food and drinks? Zhao Pinger angrily glared at Zhao Yun. You? How can you be so bad? I'm asking Mom for food, not you. Liang Jinxiao quickly tried to mediate between them. All right. Stop quarreling. Ping, this is indeed not a big day. You eat well at home. Don't we have meat on a daily basis? Could it be that the food is not good enough to entertain you? Zhao Ping pursed her lips. She knew that Liang Jinxiao was telling the truth. The food at home was better than the food specially prepared by others. No matter what, it was very rare to have meat. She thought about what she ate at the family qin. She could not even think about touching a piece of meat. These 2 days were still considered good because there were leftovers from the banquet. After 2 days, when the banquet was finished, she would probably only be able to eat some vegetables without oil. Mom, I'm just saying. I don't blame you. I'm just greedy. Zhao Ping looked at Liang Jinxiao pitifully. Liang Jinxiao felt a little sorry for his daughter, so he comforted her. All right. Go and cook. You're tuning in to the Wang Lin's Journey YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.